He's definitely got something, and he tries like a bear, but it's just no coming off for him for whatever reason. But he's obviously got a lot on his plate as well with that nonsense.
But as well in the back of that, Jason, I mean, like, the fact that he has all this going on and he's still progressing, he's still getting better, it kind of shows a bit of character as well.
Aye,
But then again, as well, I have to ask this. Somebody asked this as well. If it turns out, right, that he gets cleared of this, should Shay Logan be brought up for something then? Can that happen?
I don't know. I think the way I would look at it is if it's just one word that somebody's word against someone else's, I think you just need to take a neutral standpoint, and there's no charges brought. So I don't think you can go back and then charge the guy for lying. I think you just say, well, it's your word against his, unless you get any extra evidence, then we need to drop these charges.
So I suppose there can be no retrospective sort of justice. I mean,
I think the essence of what Celtic's argument is it's down to you to prove that he said it. Yeah. It's not down to him to prove his innocence. And that was effectively what done him in the first time. And so Celtic have looked at it again legally and said, now hold it a minute here. You know what I mean? There's nobody come forward, any independent witness, and says he said it. So until you did provide that, the guy shouldn't be getting any punishment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dale is fully behind him. I watched the interview the other day, and he said, like, in any court in the world, he said, that doesn't stand up. He said, you can't do that. You can't just show up with no evidence and say he said this, and you go, oh, right, fair enough, he's guilty then. You know what I mean? So that doesn't work like that. And you got to respect a guy like that. There was an article written last week. I don't know who wrote it. I only read half of it. And the article was basically saying they should have just ditched him when it came along. And what the fuck's that going to do? That's like, you're going to ruin a guy's career by doing that.
And also, the Aberdeen lawyer said in the thing that Logan was a kind of upstanding member of society, blah, 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 and would he be involved in any of this trash talk? And then, of course, 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, he gets sent off for foul abusive language against us.
Aye. Yeah.
It's one of those things. Once somebody calls you a racist, though, I mean, that sticks for a while. I mean, that's like, even if you are cleared of it, it's not something that really goes away. I mean, it's something that just hangs around you. You know, it's one of the worst things you can be accused of, which is it's just horrible. And I hope it all kind of. I think it'll just go away. To be honest with you, I think they'll just forget about it, because obviously, you know, to even charge the guy and to punish him for something that you can't prove, it's just fucking ridiculous. I mean. So Harper, yourself, did you watch the game, or were you doing the old overtime?
The Partick Thistle game.
That was midweek. What am I talking about? It was midweek.
I watched the Partick Thistle game at home, and to be honest, I thought it was pretty dull. I couldn't really remember much about it until listening to Jason and Paul talking about it. To be honest with you, I wasn't impressed at all against Partick Thistle, but. The opposite side to that is Saturday. I thought probably the first half was the best we've played this season. Seriously.
Yeah.
Probably the best we played under Baylor. Just never took chances. It should have been 6 or 7 0 at half time.
Yeah.
But Johansson was brilliant. I don't think I've been quite as high as Johansson as maybe the likes of Paul has been in recent weeks, and yourself as well. I felt he's probably dropped in and out of games too much for me, but I think he was the best player against Partick Thistle as well, I should say, I thought. And I think he's maybe started to show a bit more consistency that he needs for that position. And it probably isn't any coincidence that he plays better when Commons isn't in the team. I don't know if it's maybe a wee bit more responsibility, playing a wee bit further forward, I don't know, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant, really, really, really good on Saturday, so...
You hang about Johansson, he just seems to have a very full toolbox of skills. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he's got the passing, he's got the motor, he's got the aggression. You know what I mean?
He just needs shooting boots on. He's a perfect player.
He's just like even the goal Saturday was.
He made the goal.
He nipped in and took the ball away for Twansett, was it?
The goal at Twansett.
Back with Stokes. It was good for Stokes to get a goal as well. I think Stokes has been playing quite well. It's a shame because I would like to see Griffiths and Guidetti partnership sort of interest me to see how that. I think that could really produce a barrel of goals between the two of them. But Tyler's obviously got this way he wants to play with the one striker. And I think, to be fair to Stokes, that he always says that's not his best position, playing it on the left. But I think he's really started to get a great developing understanding with Ezekiri. Well, that's a really good partnership between the two. I'll tell you what, there's no many better players that I see playing for anywhere at any level who can lay a ball off like Stokes.
Yeah.
The way he's 1-2s, when you give and go, he's absolutely brilliant at that. He's always been good at it. I don't see many better. I don't watch a lot of European football, but I don't see many better examples than Stokes doing that. So it's nice when we pop up with a wee goal as well. Like,
I would kind of agree with you, Harper, because if you go back to Gary Hooper days, Stokes probably made half his goals for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would like to see Stokes in a 4-4-2, playing as rather than out in the left wing. I know effectively they're playing with, in certain way, 4 forwards with this formation style of plays, but I like 2 up front, you know, with 2 strikers, and Stokes is one of them, and he's great folly for somebody else.
I thought he was a bit unlucky to go off, Jason, when he did on Saturday. I thought, I was thinking it was Tonev that came on for him, and I thought maybe Tonev for Forrest would have been the better, because my worry was still at 1-0, and although we're dominating the game, that it only takes time to get a breakaway, 1 each, and you took off the guy that scored the goal, and maybe helped you get another goal. I thought that was a strange decision at the weekend, but that's probably the smallest wee sort of criticism I could find in the game, and even then it's only just it's one of these, no.
I mean, it has to be said, Gudetti had a bit of a nightmare in front of the goal,
But I don't know if you've seen it on the TV, but see when he gets substituted, he kept apologising to everybody. He was holding his hands up to see the crowd and stuff like that. The one thing I noticed about him, see when the crowd sing his name, and they sing his name quite a lot, the man was going on the game, he turns around and claps. And you're like, you just keep watching the game. You know, he loves it. And see when he was getting substituted, you could tell that he was a wee bit apprehensive whether the crowd was maybe going to react like boo or whatever. And obviously, no way would that happen because he's like a new hero. And when he was walking off, you could tell the shoulders slumped and stuff like that, and he was turning around and apologising. But then when the crowd all started singing his name, and he was just, you could see he was like buzzing, you know, because he's like, the thing is, 10 out of 10 for effort.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't stop trying his balls off, but it just wasn't coming off for him.
That first chance he had, the very first chance of the game, I think it was in the first half, and the wee touch he took from Johansson's pass was fantastic. And I was you'd have put all your money on him to put that away, like, you know what I mean? And he slid it past the post.
But then you look again, what a goal he scored.
Yeah,
he was offside for nothing.
Aye, because it was a great wee run. He was right on side, like he was level.
Aye,
you know.
Aye.
But I mean, he
10 out of 10 for effort.
He tweeted his apologies and everything. I mean,
well, he was totally apologetic to other fans as he was getting off the park. But you're like, come on, son. But no, 10 out of 10 for effort. And I agree with Harper. I thought the way Celtic played on Saturday was fantastic.
Yeah.
If I'm watching football like that for the rest of the season, I'll be absolutely delighted. You know, and there was at stages in that game that we were untouchable.
I mean, the passing game that obviously Dale has been teaching and trying to mould them into, you can see it coming together really, really well. I mean, and the thing is, right? Normally, if something like that happened, it was only 1-0. We were playing against 10 men for a good part of the game as well, right? Now, normally, say maybe last year or maybe even 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, if that had happened, we'd all been fucking up in arms, saying 1-0 against 10 men, that's bullshit. But see the fact that the play was so good. And it looks so fluid, and they were constantly on the ball, constantly moving forward, constantly pressing, constantly trying to create chances. That kind of, I mean, there's nothing you can complain about because it looks so good, and it was so good to watch. 1-0, I mean, it should have been 7 or 8. But, I mean, you can't really complain when you see the sort of the level of progress we're making week on week, you know?
See the Gudetti goal that was chopped off. Do you think, I mean, the whistle went quite quick, didn't it? You think he would have went for that? Jinky would have went for that overhead kick if he thought he was onside. That's what I was thinking.
I think he's the type that would. He's confident enough. I don't know if the goalie maybe didn't try as hard as he could have. You know, so maybe he wouldn't have scored it. I don't know. But there are a few variables there. But I think he's the type of player that he would go for that.
Yeah, so were. The reason I mention it is because the boy sitting next to me in Dublin was wasn't very happy about that. He's got to me like, I hope he knew he was offside because he could have made a complete arse of that. The keeper would have saved it and blah, 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 blah. I was like, I don't know.
Aye, but no, I think he's the type that he wouldn't have any qualms about doing something, and I think that's good.
Then again, I mean, that could be a Swedish thing as well. I mean, Swedish strikers tend to just go, you know, for unorthodox finishes. You look at Larsson, Ibrahimovic, Daddies. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a Swedish thing. I think it's just a thing.
I'm trying to give the Swedish people. I'm trying to give the Swedish people some credit.
Joe, what shite are you talking about? It's a Swedish thing. Yeah, we got a Monty Python sketch to go here or something.
We just got to keep the content going, right? I'm just trying to fill in the fucking blanks.
No, but back to Paul's point again. Harper sort of made it about Johansson. Johansson was world class on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a treat to watch him. He covers every blade in that grass, and he's absolutely brilliant. He's the motor behind that team, and I think him and Brown are starting to get a good understanding.
Well, the thing I'm seeing is Brown does a lot of the donkey work, and Johansson is kind of free then to be more creative.
Yeah,
which is like a perfect partnership if it continues like that. I mean, because Scott Brown's so dogged in his job. I mean, he goes out there and he knows his job is to break up play and stop them doing what they want to do. And Johansson is clearly the playmaker.
And I actually think Beaton played quite well the weekend as well, and he done well when he came on against Paris this week.
Some of his passing was great. Some wee touches, flicks here and there.
I think it kind of signals the end for Baram Kayal.
Yeah, but then again, I was a Kayal fan at the beginning because I liked his sort of, his aggression, his get up and go, and this sort of trying to push everybody forward. But
that's an Israeli thing.
What? Occupy somebody else's stuff. I wouldn't get into that. So, I don't know. I've kind of fallen off with Baram Kayal. I think he's just kind of loose change now. I think we can get rid of him.
I think it was in the papers. I mean, I never read it, but I think I seen a headline. It was on Facebook, one of the papers. I think he said, "That's my time's up" or something. And I only looked to see the comments to see who it was that was had said it. And it was Kayal, so he's probably looking for a move in January.
Well, I'd say,
I think there's a few of them, to be honest.
Speaking of January, we should even talk about that now. I mean, like, there's
well, can I just before then, Joe? Right, I've got a tweet for Alistair, who's declared himself. Hi guys, can I pubic say I am so wrong about Rory? Someone going to get doing very soon. We think Window will be busy. There's a nice wee segue for you
there. There you go.
Hi, pubic.
I pubically say. Anyway, so what was I talking about there? Yes, January. There's a list up here of potential, well, these lists of potential signings. The only one I've kind of paid attention to is the one that's been bandied about. And that's Martin Odegaard, what is he, 16 or 17 now? Young lad from Stromsgodset. I think he's 16. He was born in 98. Must be 16.
It's his 16th birthday this week, I think. I said the thing I read yesterday. This month.
I only kind of sort of heard flits about him, you don't pay a lot of attention to this stuff. But it's kind of becoming the point now where Dave is mentioning it and saying he has control of the situation and he's being kept up to date.
Can I bring you back to that guy we met in Dublin that night? Remember, it was someone that mentioned.
Yes, he was the big lad we met at the Kevin Smith gig.
That's right.
That's right, and he did. He's the first one that ever mentioned him to us.
Big Norwegian boy,
Fucking white big. He was fucking huge. That's right. He did mention that, and he mentioned Dale was the one that gave him his chance when he was 15 years old and 188 days, and
14.
No, he was 15. I watched the video of him today, and that's come up on the
screen.
He
was 14 when he got his debut.
Was he?
Oh, no. 15 when he got his national debut.
He played for Norway. Oh, that's right. You're right. Sorry. But I watched some of the footage of him today. Like, it was like of his YouTube videos. Jesus, he looks a player. And not only that, but see the passing we seen on Saturday. Obviously, that's how Stromsgodset won the league, because that's exactly how he played. What?
Where does he play?
He's a midfielder.
Number 10 sort of role.
So kind of playing Johansson's.
Yeah.
Play like that.
But I mean, see that style of play that we're seeing now, especially on Saturday. This young lad has that in spades. You know what I mean? That's exactly what he does. He's great at holding on to the ball, and I mean, he just obviously YouTube's no way to fucking gauge what a player's like, but I mean, just to watch him and see the footwork and see his ability and see his the fact that he's playing against men and he's just skinning guys. His passing's fantastic. His vision's fantastic. I mean, and obviously everybody's in for him now. I mean, he's been around Europe on a whirlwind tour of fucking top clubs, and but the chances of getting him, obviously, it's down to his own decisions and the choices that he makes. But
I mean, seriously, how do you feel about that though? I mean, is it that good that as a 16-year-old he's going to be able to go to the first team?
I don't think it's even that though, Harper. It's just the fact that getting a guy like that there and bringing him in, you know what I mean? and seeing what he can do is it's a big get, it's a big coup, and it's